In exactly 4 minutes and 32 seconds, every light in my house will turn off by themselves. And when they do, I have 12 seconds to live. This isn't a theory. My father documented it for 28 years. 1,247 photographs. He spent $174,000 on electricity trying to stop it. He died 3 months ago. Heart attack. But I found the footage. At exactly 2:47 a.m., every light in his house dimmed for 12 seconds. His heart rate spiked to 189. By 9 a.m., he was dead. Now I live in that house. And last night at 2:47 a.m., I filmed this. The shadow moved 6 feet in 8 seconds. Toward my bedroom, while every light was on. My father's protocol kept us safe for 10,220 nights. But it's not working anymore. In this video, I'm going to show you what he found, what the $40,000 in expert analysis revealed, and what 247 people around the world are experiencing right now, at exactly 2:47 a.m. in their time zone. If you've ever woken up at that time for no reason, this might be why. I have 4 minutes. Let's begin. Hello, family and besties. If you're listening right now, help me prove something wrong. My mother said I wouldn't even reach 100 subscribers, but I believe stories like this deserve to be heard. Help me show her that these tales matter. Please subscribe to Lifetales by Sally, and let's keep breathing life into stories that were never meant to stay silent. Sit back and relax as we dive into the story. My father spent $174,000 on electricity over 28 years. That's not a typo. $174,000, just to keep the lights on while he slept. When I asked him why, he'd go silent. Not angry silent. Terrified silent. He died 3 months ago. Heart attack. Quick. At least, that's what the coroner said. But I just found his research. All 1,247 photographs. All 600 pages of notes. All the evidence he spent 3 decades collecting. And now I know why our electricity bill was $340 a month. I know why he never slept in the dark. I know what he was protecting us from. And I wish I could unknow it. This is going to take a while to explain. Make yourself comfortable. Turn on every light in your room. Trust me on that last part. Let me start at the beginning. My name is Marcus Chin. I'm 32 years old. I work in data analytics, important for later. My father, Thomas Chin, was 66 when he died on November 18, 2024. He was born in Taiwan, immigrated to the U.S. in 1982, met my mom in 1989, had me in 1992. Normal immigrant success story. Software engineer, worked for IBM, then Microsoft, then retired early in 2015. Loved golf. Couldn't cook. Watched Jeopardy every night. Completely, utterly ordinary. Except for one thing. We moved into our house in Edina, Minnesota in June 1996. I was 4 years old. It was a standard suburban home, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, finished basement, nothing special. Built in 1987. Previous owners were a retired couple who moved to Arizona. No deaths in the house. No weird history. We moved in on a Saturday. By Tuesday, my father had installed 47 additional light fixtures throughout the house. 47. My mom thought he was just being handy. Improving the house. He told her better lighting would increase property value. She didn't question it. But I remember something she doesn't. Or maybe she's blocked it out. That first Monday night, 3 days after we moved in, I woke up around 3 a.m. to use the bathroom. I was 4, scared of the dark, typical kid stuff. I opened my bedroom door, and the hallway was completely black. Every light was off. I started crying. Not just whimpering, full panic crying. And my dad, he came sprinting out of his bedroom like the house was on fire. He didn't comfort me first. He didn't pick me up. He ran to every light switch in the hallway, flipping them on. Then he grabbed me, held me tight, and whispered, "Never turn these off. Never. Do you understand?" I was 4. I didn't understand. But I nodded. My mom came out, asking what was wrong. Dad just said I had a nightmare. Put me back to bed. Kissed my forehead. But before he left my room, he installed a night light. Then another. Then another. By the end of the week, I had 6 night lights in a 10 by 10 room. I slept like a baby after that. We all did. For 28 years. The lights stayed on. Every single night. Kitchen lights. Bathroom lights. Hallway lights. Living room lamps. Even the basement. A basement my father never went into, had lights on 24/7. My mom fought him on it for the first few years. I have memories of arguments. Thomas, the electricity bill is $340 this month. I'll pay it. That's not the point. It's wasteful. I'll handle it. You're being irrational. Then I'm irrational. Eventually, she stopped fighting. He just transferred $400 to her account every month. Didn't argue. Didn't explain. Just paid it and moved on. That became our normal. Growing up, I learned there were rules in our house. Capital R rules. Rule number 1. Never turn off the main lights after 10 p.m. Rule number 2. If you wake up in the night, check that the hallway lights are on before leaving your room. Rule number 3. Never, ever go into the basement after dark, even with the lights on. Rule number 4. If a light bulb burns out at night, wake Dad immediately. Not in the morning. Immediately. I broke rule number 1 exactly once. I was 12 years old. It was summer, 2004. I'd just learned about environmentalism in school and came home full of righteous purpose. I was going to save the planet and save my family money. Around 11 p.m., I snuck out of my room. My parents were asleep. I made it to 3 light switches in the hallway. Click, click, click. Darkness. I felt so accomplished. So proud. Then I heard my father's bedroom door open. I expected anger. Maybe yelling. Instead, I just heard footsteps. Fast footsteps. Then all 3 lights flipped back on, and my dad was standing there in his pajamas. His face. God, his face. He wasn't angry. He was bone-deep terrified. Pale. Shaking. He grabbed my shoulders, not rough, but firm, and walked me to the kitchen table. Sat me down. Made tea, which he never did. Then he said, "Marcus, I need you to listen very carefully. Some rules exist for reasons you can't understand yet. Some rules seem stupid or wasteful or crazy, but those rules keep you safe. Do you trust me?" I said yes. "Then trust me on this. The lights stay on. Always. I don't care what your teachers say. I don't care about the environment right now. I care about you. The lights protect you. Can you accept that?" I asked him, "Protect me from what?" He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "From things that only exist when it's dark." That was it. That was all the explanation I got for 20 years. I never touched the light switches again. Pause, direct camera address. My friends thought it was weird when they came over. The house that was always lit up like Christmas. I made up excuses. My dad's afraid of the dark. It's a cultural thing. My mom likes it bright. But deep down, I didn't mind. Because whatever fear my dad had, it felt real. Real enough that I inherited it. I moved out when I was 23. Got my own apartment. First night there, I tried sleeping in the dark like a normal person. I lasted 20 minutes. I got up, turned on every lamp I owned, and slept through the night. I told myself it was just habit. Conditioning. Nothing more. But now I know better. Dad died on November 18th, 2024. Monday morning. Heart attack while drinking coffee. He was standing in the kitchen, every light on, even though it was 9 a.m. and sunny outside. The paramedics said it was quick. Massive cardiac event. Nothing anyone could have done. He was 66. No prior heart problems. Healthy. Active. Went for a physical 3 weeks before and passed with flying colors. But here's what the coroner's report doesn't mention. The last thing my father did before he died was replace a burnt-out light bulb in the hallway. My mom found the old bulb in the trash. Timestamp on the kitchen camera shows he changed it at 6:47 a.m., 2 hours before his heart attack. That light bulb is important. You'll see why. My mom needed help clearing out Dad's office. He had a home office he'd kept even after retirement, said he was consulting, but mostly he just read and organized files. Standard office. Desk, computer, filing cabinets, bookshelves. Nothing unusual. Except I noticed something. His desk had 4 drawers. 3 open normally. The 4th had a biometric lock and a combination lock. For context, my father kept his banking passwords on a sticky note on his monitor. His phone PIN was 1234. He was not a security-conscious person. So why the hell did one drawer have military-grade locks? I asked my mom about it. She'd never noticed. He never mentioned it. As far as she knew, it was just stuck. It took me 2 weeks to get it open. I tried his birthday, my birthday, their anniversary. Nothing. Finally, I hired a locksmith. Cost me $600 because he had to drill through the biometric sensor, without damaging what was inside. When it finally opened, here's what was inside. One USB drive, 256 gigabytes encrypted. One leather journal, 600 plus pages handwritten. One external hard drive, 2 terabytes, also encrypted. A letter addressed to me. Sealed. Dated November 1st, 2024, 17 days before he died. The letter was short. I'm going to read it exactly as written. Marcus, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you while I was alive. I'm sorry for the electricity bills, the weird rules, the lights. The USB drive contains everything. Photos, videos, notes, timelines. The password is your mother's maiden name plus the year we moved into the house. Luong 1996, no spaces, capital L and W. I need you to see the evidence before you judge me. I need you to understand I wasn't crazy. I wasn't paranoid. I was protecting you. The lights kept us safe. For 28 years, the lights worked. But in the last 6 months, something changed. The rules don't work anymore. It's adapting. Learning. I don't know how much time I have left. It's been getting closer. Bolder. Whatever happens to me, keep the lights on. For yourself. For your mother. For anyone you love. Some things only exist in the dark. And some things are patient enough to wait for the dark to find them. I love you. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you forever. Dad. I sat in that office for an hour, just staring at the letter. Then I plugged in the USB drive. The USB contained 1,247 image files. All JPGs. All time-stamped. All taken inside our house between June 1996 and November 2024. 28 years of documentation. The files were organized by year. Each year had a folder. Each folder had dozens of photos. I started with 1996. The first photo. File name, 1996_06_04_0237.jpg. Our living room. Taken at 2:37 a.m. 3 days after we moved in. The room was dark. No lights on. I could see our couch, the TV, the coffee table, all illuminated by camera flash. Everything looked normal. Then I zoomed in. In the corner, behind the TV stand, there was a shadow, but not a regular shadow. This shadow was standing. Vertical. Human-shaped. But there was no object casting it. No person. No furniture. Nothing. It was just there. My father had circled it in red digital markup. And written in the margin. First appearance. NW corner. Appeared approximate 2:30 a.m. Disappeared by 3:15 a.m. I thought maybe it was a photo artifact. Digital noise. Pareidolia. The human brain seeing patterns that aren't there. So I opened the second photo. File name. 1996_06_04_0238.jpg. Same room. 1 minute later. 2:38 a.m. The shadow had moved. It was now 3 feet closer to the center of the room. Still vertical. Still human-shaped. Still shouldn't exist. My father's note. Confirmed movement. Not stationary. Observing. I opened every photo from June 1996. 13 photos total, all taken over 2 nights. The shadow appeared in every single one. And in each photo, it was closer to where my father must have been standing. By the final photo of June 4th, the shadow was less than 6 feet from the camera position. The timestamp, 2:59 a.m. Then nothing. No photos for 3 days. The next photo was dated June 7th. Our living room again. But this time, every lamp was on. Overhead lights. Floor lamps. Everything. Same time, 2:37 a.m. No shadow. My father's note. Light eliminates presence. Repeatable. Tested in kitchen, hallway, bedroom. Presence only appears in unlit spaces after 2:30 a.m. Stops at light boundaries. Does not cross into illuminated areas. Keep lights on. That's when my father installed all the extra lights. That's when the rules started. That's when our electricity bill went from $60 to $340 a month. Because he discovered something in our house. Something that only existed in the dark. And he found the one thing that kept it away. Light. I spent 6 hours going through those photos chronologically. What I found was a 28-year scientific study conducted by a terrified father who couldn't tell anyone what he was seeing. Let me show you what he documented. Years 1996 through 2000, initial observations. The presence appeared 4 to 5 nights per week. Always between 2:30 and 3:15 a.m. Always in unlit rooms. Never crossed into lit areas. Appeared human-shaped but no facial features, no details. Just darker than dark shadow. Movement was deliberate, not random. Seemed to be drawn towards sleeping people. My father tested everything. He left lights on in some rooms, off in others. He set up cameras with motion sensors. He documented temperature changes, average 7-degree drop when present. He even left voice recorders running. Those audio files were on the hard drive. I've listened to them. Most are just house sounds, creaking, refrigerator hum, normal stuff. But on 17 recordings, there's something else. At exactly 2:47 a.m., there's a sound. Low frequency, almost subsonic. It sounds like breathing, deep, slow breathing, but wrong somehow. Too rhythmic, too deliberate. My father noted. Audio suggests respiration, but pattern is unnatural. For seconds inhale, 12 seconds exhale, for seconds pause. No variation. Not biological. Years 2001 through 2010 escalation. The presence started appearing more frequently. By 2003, it was every single night. It also started appearing in multiple rooms simultaneously. One photo from 2004 shows shadows in the living room and the hallway at the same time. Two distinct shapes. My father's note. Multiplying? Or same entity, multiple manifestations. This is when he implemented rule number 3. Never go into the basement, even with lights on. Because in 2005, he went down there at 2:45 a.m. He took 6 photos. In the first photo, normal basement. Lights on. Nothing unusual. In the second photo, taken 30 seconds later, every light is still on, but there are 7 shadows visible. 7 distinct human-shaped shadows, none of them cast by any object. In the third photo, the shadows are surrounding where my father was standing. There are no photos 4, 5, or 6. The files are corrupted. Intentionally, according to the metadata. My father's note on that incident. Do not engage. Basement is compromised. Lights ineffective in confined spaces with multiple entry points. Sealed zone. He never went into the basement again. And neither did we. Years 2011 through 2020, stabilization. For about a decade, things stayed consistent. The presence appeared nightly. Stayed in dark areas. Respected light boundaries. My father's documentation became routine. Same observations. Same patterns. Same rules keeping us safe. He wrote in his journal. It's learned that it can't reach us. The lights work. As long as we maintain protocol, we're safe. I can live with this. We can coexist. But then came 2021. 2021 through 2024, the change. Something shifted. In March 2021, my father captured a photo that broke his understanding of the rules. He woke up at 2:47 a.m. He'd set an alarm by this point, to document regularly. He walked into the hallway. Every light was on, as always. He took a photo. In the photo, visible in the lit hallway, for the first time in 25 years. A shadow. Faint. Barely visible. But there. In the light. His note. Protocol breach. Presence visible in lit environment for first time. Duration. Approximately 4 seconds before fading. Adaptation. Evolution. It was learning. For 25 years, light had been a perfect barrier. An absolute rule. But whatever this thing was, it was figuring out how to exist in the light. Camera. Different setting. Living room, journal on coffee table, more intimate lighting. The journal was where my father processed what he was experiencing. The photos were evidence. The journal was his sanity. 600 pages. Handwritten. Dating from June 5, 1996 to November 15, 2024, 3 days before he died. I'm going to read you some entries. These are his words, not mine. Entry. June 5, 1996. Something is in this house. I know how that sounds. I'm a software engineer. I believe in logic, data, evidence. But I also believe my eyes. There is something in the living room that appears when the lights are off. I've seen it twice now. Sarah thinks I'm stressed from the move. Marcus is too young to notice. Tomorrow I'm buying more lights. If I'm crazy, I'm just a crazy man with a well-lit house. If I'm not crazy, the lights will tell me. Entry, June 12, 1996. The lights work. 1 week of testing confirms it. Whatever this presence is, it cannot or will not enter illuminated spaces. I've tested every room. The pattern holds. I tried talking to it last night. Asked what it wanted. No response. Just movement. Always moving toward wherever we're sleeping. Sarah asked why I'm installing so many lights. I told her I'm improving the house. She's annoyed but not suspicious. I can't tell her. What would I say? Honey, there's a shadow monster in our house, but don't worry. I've figured out it's afraid of light. She'd leave me. Or worse, she'd think I'm having a breakdown. So I'll pay the electricity bill. I'll be the weird husband with the obsessive lighting. I'll take that over the alternative. Entry, August 3rd, 1996. Marcus woke up last night. 3:17 a.m. He had to use the bathroom. He opened his bedroom door. I'd forgotten to keep his hallway nightlight on, and started crying. By the time I got there, he was hysterical. Kept saying, "There's someone in the dark, Daddy. There's someone in the dark." I checked the timestamp on my camera later. At 3:16 a.m., there were 3 shadow figures in the hallway outside his room. He saw them. My 4-year-old son saw them. I've installed 6 nightlights in his room now. He'll never sleep in darkness again. He'll think I'm overprotective. He'll complain when he's older about the weird light thing his dad does. But he'll be alive to complain. Reading these entries, I remember that night. I remember seeing something in the hallway. For years, I convinced myself it was just nightmare logic. The fear of the dark that all kids have. But I really saw them. My father knew. And he never told me. He just handled it. Entry, November 8th, 2003. Marcus tried to turn off the lights tonight. My heart nearly stopped. I must have looked insane, running out there, turning them back on with shaking hands. But he listened when I explained, or pretended to explain, that the lights keep us safe. He's 12 now. Smart kid. Too smart. He's starting to ask questions I can't answer. Protect us from what, Dad? I wanted to tell him. God, I wanted to unburden myself. But how do you tell your child that darkness itself is hostile? That the absence of light isn't just nothing, it's something, and that something wants them? So I said, things that only exist in the dark. Half-truth. The best I could do. Entry, February 14th, 2015. I retired today. Sarah's happy. Says we can finally travel, enjoy life, spend time together. But I can't leave this house. The presence is still here. Every night. I've lived with it for 19 years now. I've documented it, studied it, learned its patterns. And I know, that if we leave, if we sell this house to some unsuspecting family, they won't know about the lights. They'll sleep in the dark. I can't do that to them. So I told Sarah I love this house too much to sell it. She thinks I'm sentimental. I let her think that. This is my prison and my responsibility. I brought us here. I'll keep us safe until I die. Entry, March 18th, 2021. It appeared in the light today. 25 years. 25 years the protocol has worked. Perfect record. Lights on equals safe. Lights off equals presence. But this morning at 2:47 a.m., I saw it in the hallway. Every light blazing. And there it was. Faint, translucent, but visible. It stayed for 4 seconds. Then faded. It's adapting. The rules are breaking down. I'm 63 years old. How much longer can I maintain this? And what happens when the lights stop working completely? Entry, September 22nd, 2024. I'm running out of time. The presence appears in lit rooms almost nightly now. Still faint. Still brief. But it's learning to exist in light. I've started testing different bulb types. LED, incandescent, halogen. Different lumens. Different color temperatures. So far, high lumens incandescent bulbs work best. The old-fashioned ones. It has trouble manifesting in that specific spectrum. I've replaced every bulb in the house. Cost me $800. Sarah thought I was being wasteful. I didn't tell her I'm trying to stay alive. Entry, November 15th, 2024, final entry. The hallway light burned out at 6:40 a.m. this morning. I replaced it immediately. But for approximately 3 minutes, that section of hallway was dark during daylight hours. When I installed the new bulb and the light came on, there were scorch marks on the wallpaper. Not burn marks. Cold scorch marks. The kind of burn you get from extreme cold, not heat. It was there. In the dark. In the middle of the day. Waiting. I think I know what's going to happen. I think it's been patient for 28 years, and now it's found a way through. I've prepared everything for Marcus. The USB drive. The journal. The letter. If I die suddenly, he'll investigate. That's who he is. Data analyst. He'll want answers. I just hope the answers don't destroy him the way they've consumed me. The lights kept us safe for 28 years. That's not nothing. That's 10,220 nights of protection. 10,220 nights my family slept without knowing what surrounded them in the dark. If I die tomorrow, at least I'll die knowing I succeeded. They never had to be afraid. Only me. I can live with that. Or die with it. The lights stay on. He died 3 days later. November 18th, 9 a.m. Heart attack. But here's what I found when I checked the smart home logs. At 2:47 a.m. that same morning, every light in the house simultaneously dimmed to 40% power for exactly 12 seconds. Then they came back to full brightness. My father's bedroom camera was still recording. I watched the footage. At 2:47 a.m., my father sat up in bed. He was looking at the corner of his room. Just staring. The lights were on. But he was seeing something. For 12 seconds, he sat completely still. Then he lay back down. His heart rate monitor, he wore a fitness tracker, spiked to 189 BPM. By 9 a.m., he was dead. After reading the journal, I knew I had to see the basement. My father sealed it in 2005. 19 years of don't go down there enforcement. Even after he died, my mom never went down. She'd just say, your father didn't like anyone down there. I brought equipment. 4 high-powered LED lamps for 1,000 lumens each. 2 camera systems with night vision. Temperature sensors. EMF meter, yes, I know how that sounds. Audio recorder. And a very long extension cord so I could keep everything powered from upstairs. I went down at 2 p.m. Broad daylight. Every light in the house on. The basement was exactly as it had been in 2005. Storage boxes. Old furniture. Christmas decorations. Water heater. Normal suburban basement. Except for one thing. The walls. Every wall had writing on it. Floor to ceiling. Written in what looked like marker. My father's handwriting. The same phrase, repeated thousands of times. Stay in the light, stay in the light, stay in the light. Over and over. Covering every surface. In the center of the room was a circle of salt. Inside the circle, a camping lantern, a case of batteries, and a note. I picked up the note. If you're reading this, you didn't listen. You came down here anyway. The basement is where it's strongest. I don't know why. Maybe because it's the darkest part of the house. Maybe because it's underground. Maybe because it was here first. In 2005, I made the mistake of confronting it. I wanted answers. I wanted to understand. I set up cameras and turned off all the lights. I wanted to see it fully. Document it completely. I saw it. All 7 of them. They surrounded me. They didn't touch me. I don't think they can, not yet, but they looked at me. I know that doesn't make sense. They don't have faces. They don't have eyes. But they looked at me. And they made me understand something. They've been here longer than the house. Longer than the land. They exist in the spaces between light and dark, and our world overlaps with theirs at night. Most people never see them. Most people sleep through the hours when the overlap is strongest. And for those who do wake, well, the brain explains it away. Sleep paralysis. Nightmares. Shadows. But they're real. As real as you are. Just different. The salt circle is a containment, not a protection. I learned that from research into old folklore. Salt doesn't keep them out. It keeps them in. This circle marks the strongest manifestation point. As long as the lantern inside stays lit, they're anchored here. Contained. If that lantern ever goes out, don't let it go out. And don't ever come down here after dark. Dad, put note down. The lantern was still on. Battery powered. Lead. My father must have come down regularly to change the batteries. I checked the battery level. 87%. Then I noticed something else. Around the salt circle, the concrete floor was discolored. Darker. Like something had stained it. I took a sample. Sent it to a lab. Cost me $300. The results came back last week. The staining was organic material. Carbon-based. But the molecular structure didn't match any known biological compound. The lab tech called me personally and asked where I'd gotten it. I told him I found it in my basement and hung up. I sealed the basement back up. Installed 3 new locks. And I go down every Sunday at noon to change the lantern batteries. Because my father's last instruction was clear. Don't let it go out. Pause, shift in energy. But here's what kept me up at night after visiting the basement. If there are 7 of them down there, contained in a circle, where's the one that appeared in the hallway? The one that appeared in my father's room? The one that seems to be getting stronger. Pull out folder. I found one more thing in the basement. A folder labeled previous owners. My father had researched the house history. Not just our house. Every house on our street going back to 1945 when the neighborhood was first developed. I'm going to read you what he found. Our house, 427 Maple Drive. Built 1987. First owners, Robert and Catherine Mills, 1987 to 1996. Second owners, Thomas Chin family, 1996 to present. Why did the Mills family sell? I found the original realtor notes in public records. Under reason for selling. Owners relocating to Arizona for health reasons. But I found something else. An incident report from 1995. Catherine Mills called police at 3:47 a.m. on March 15, 1995. Reported intruder in home. Police arrived. Searched entire house. No signs of forced entry. Nothing missing. No evidence of any person. Mrs. Mills stated, there was someone in our bedroom, standing in the corner. I saw them. Report concluded. Possible nightmare/sleep paralysis. No crime committed. They moved 6 months later. Next house, 425 Maple Drive. Built 1987. Owners, Jefferson family, 1987 to 2001. Sold after unexplained circumstances. I tracked down David Jefferson. He's 71 now. Lives in Florida. I called him. Asked about the house. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Why are you asking about this?" I told him I lived 2 doors down and was researching neighborhood history. He said, "We left because of the dark. I know that sounds insane, but we couldn't live there anymore. Things would happen at night. Sounds. Shadows. My daughter refused to sleep alone after age 6. We all started sleeping in the living room with every light on. Eventually, we just couldn't do it anymore." I asked if he'd told the next owners. He said, "What would I tell them? That the house is haunted? They'd think I'm crazy. So we just left." 4 other houses on our street. 421 Maple. Sold in 1998 after owner died of heart failure at age 54. 429 Maple. Foreclosed in 2003 after family abandoned property. 431 Maple. Sold in 2010, family cited personal reasons. 423 Maple. Current owners installed industrial lighting system in 2019. Electricity bill averages $425 per month. I called the owners of 423. Older couple. Late 60s. Asked about their lights. The husband laughed nervously and said, "My wife doesn't like the dark. That's all." Then he hung up. Put folder down. 7 houses on one street. All with the same pattern. Excessive lighting. Families leaving suddenly. Fear of the dark. This isn't just our house. This is the entire neighborhood. And my father wasn't the only one who knew. He was just the only one who documented it. After finding all this evidence, I did what my father never could. I asked for help. I spent $40,000 over 3 months consulting with 5 different experts. I needed to know, was my father delusional? Was I? Or was there something genuinely unexplainable happening? Here's what I found. Expert number 1, Dr. Sarah Mitchell, clinical psychologist specializing in shared delusions. Cost, $3,000 for evaluation. I showed her the journal entries, the photos, everything except the actual evidence of the shadows themselves. I presented it as, my father believed there were shadow entities in our house for 28 years. What's your professional opinion? Her assessment. Based on the documentation, your father exhibited signs of sustained delusional disorder, specifically persecutory type. However, and this is where it got interesting, the level of systematic documentation, the consistent behavior over 28 years, and the absence of other psychotic symptoms is highly unusual. Typically, delusions of this nature escalate, becoming more elaborate and disconnected from reality. Your father's delusion, if that's what it was, remained remarkably stable and rules-based. Additionally, the fact that you independently developed similar behaviors without knowing the reason suggests either genetic predisposition to the same delusion or environmental factors we're not seeing. I asked her, what if it's real? She said, then it's outside my field. But nothing in psychology is as consistent as this. Delusions evolve. This didn't. Verdict, uncertain, leaning toward environmental cause. Expert number 2, Marcus Webb, digital forensics specialist. Cost, $8,000 for analysis. I gave him 50 photos spanning from 1996 to 2024. Didn't tell him what he was looking for. Just said, "Tell me if these images have been manipulated." He ran every test: metadata analysis, error level analysis, clone detection, lighting consistency, compression artifact examination. His report: all images appear genuine. No evidence of digital manipulation, compositing, or post-processing beyond basic adjustments for brightness/.